What's up, guys? This is Martin here. Today I'm going to talk to you about bad habits, specifically about vices and how vices destroy people's lives, literally. So the other day I was walking on my path. I was doing my hiking workout. The crazy thing is, it actually happened right there, right behind those trees. So as I'm walking on my trail, because all of this happened, I was walking uphill, and all of a sudden I saw this old man who emerged from the shadows to my left. Because on the downhill you have like a creek, and he was crossing that creek, and we're about to cross paths. And I gave him a quick glance, and this guy was probably in his 60s. He was carrying his bike. He had like this cool looking Native American Indian resembled looking haircut, and he had some earrings that clearly were inspired by the Native American Indians, and he was holding a beer in his hands. And after that encounter, I thought to myself, I was like, damn, I'm glad that's not me, because that incident happened on a random Monday morning. It actually happened on, I think it was like 10 a.m. or something. Anyway, I mean, this is not the only scenario where I've seen this, because I've been living in Poland for a while now, and I see these drunk people, or these drunkies, frequently, especially on the weekends. And I mean, it's a little sad how people form their whole identity from alcohol alone. Isn't that crazy? And it's not just, I mean, I'm not sure what the situation looked like with that guy, because I might be wrong. I mean, he might have a family, he might live somewhere, but he looked homeless to me. And I'm not trying to judge anyone here, because everyone goes through something. Everyone has their own hardship, regardless of what it is. But a lot of the times it's due to choice. It doesn't happen by accident. Like, your life is not going to look like this by accident. It's only going to look like that if you let life dictate your own path, your own trajectory of life. And I see this happen all the time, especially with my old friends, my old colleagues from high school that we used to play football with. So many of them are still in that entertainment spiral. Like, they're drinking on the weekends, they're smoking pot, they're partying, they're playing their video games, they're watching a whole bunch of sports, and life just passes by. Like, I want to tell you something, guys. Like, your life is not gonna fix itself by you doing these bad things to yourself. I mean, I'm not saying that you should never drink. I'm not saying you should never smoke. I'm not saying you should never do anything that you want. Like, it's your own life. Like, do what you want. If you think I'm stupid for saying that, okay, let it be. I'm just telling you something from my personal observations, because I'm a guy who used to be a really good athlete. I used to play football at a pretty high level, especially for my age group. I never made it to the pro level, but I was always a very disciplined individual when it came to taking care of my body and what I allowed inside my body. And I'm gonna reveal this to you guys. I never had a drink in my life. I never smoked. I never did any drugs. Never. I'm all clean. And I'm 24, by the way. You know why? Because I had so many people around me who were addicted to that stuff, and surprisingly, it actually pushed me away from these substances. Like a prime example is my dad. Even though I love my dad, he's a hero of mine, like alcohol ruined his life. He let alcohol control his own life, basically. I mean, the same thing can be said for a lot of people, but when I saw it with my own eyes, up close, at how it actually destroyed my dad's life, I never want to be like that. I never want an external force to control my life. And to some degree, I believe that these really bad things like vices, alcohol specifically, it possesses people. Like, because we as humans, we operate in frequencies. Nikola Tesla said it, I'm using his exact words here. Like, Nikola Tesla said that if you want to understand the universe, you have to think in terms of frequencies, vibrations, and what was the rest? Yeah, it was something like that. Like, if you want to understand the world, you have to think in terms of frequencies, vibrations, and energy, I believe it was. Like, if any of you guys know the exact quote, correct me. But that was Nikola Tesla. He said that like 200 years ago. 200 years ago? I don't know. I'm shit when it comes to history. Like, it's so evident when you look at drunk people. Like, when someone is drunk, it's almost like they're possessed by something. Like, it's not them anymore. It's crazy, right? Because it's like they have a different personality. It's like something, like some people say that when someone is drunk, that when they're drunk, their natural, like their original personality comes out. Like they take off the mask, literally. Like some people, when they're drunk, they're really happy. Whereas when other people are drunk, they get really emotional. Where on some other instances where people get drunk, they get really like aggressive and negative towards the world. And I don't know what it is. Like, there's so many things in this world that can't really be explained. But I know this is a fact. Like, when someone is addicted to these substances, they're not themselves anymore, especially when it comes to alcohol. Like, and it also goes the other way. Like, if someone is really clean, if someone is operating at a really high frequency, when they're clean, they have good habits in life, they're positive, there's something different about them, and you can feel it. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you guys. It's something cerebral. Like, I have a couple of friends who are operating at a really high level, who are really high level entrepreneurs, and whenever I talk to them, like for the first part, like, firstly, they're very positive people. They're very driven, very motivational people too. They know what to say at the right time. And whenever I talk to them, I always feel like they gave me energy. It's like you have like this, like every single one of you has like this battery bar where if you meet someone who's really positive and really like, he's just vibrant in a way. If you meet a person like that, it's like they charge your battery level. So let's say if your battery level is at 80%, it's almost like they just gave you an extra 15%. And the other way around, if you meet someone who's really negative, who's really pissed about life, it's almost like they subtract energy from your life. Like they just subtracted 20% of your energy for the day. It's crazy how it works. But it's a real thing. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have experienced this. It's just like, when you meet someone, like sometimes you can be in a group of people and all of a sudden this one girl comes over and she's just super pissed about anything, and all of a sudden the whole group is negative for a reason. Yeah. Again, what did Nikola Tesla say? You have to think in terms of vibrations, frequencies, and energy. That's everything. So, me personally, I believe that all the things that I've just mentioned, all the substances like alcohol, drugs, smoking, partying, having too much sex, these are all the tools that were made by the devil to literally ruin and possess people's lives. Just imagine how many people have destroyed or killed themselves just by taking alcohol and drugs. Like, it's probably tens of millions of people right now, if not hundreds of millions. It's insane. And realistically, like, think about now. Like, think about all the people who are currently alive, who will never even get to this video, who are addicted to these things, and they're not even aware of it. Like, it's so sad, but it happens. But it's mostly due to their social circles. Like, their social circle will not even let them know about this information. I mean, they don't even know it themselves, right? Let's start there. They're druggies and alcoholics themselves, so why would they bother? And this makes me think of a time back when I was 13, 14 years old, when I was in middle school. Back then, I remember I had people who started to experiment with drugs and alcohol. It specifically was smoking. And we also have this thing in Norway that is called a snus. It's like this substance that you put under your lip. And it's very popular in Norway or in Scandinavia. So I remember people were experimenting with it, and because you know what it is at that age. You know what it's like. You try to stand out. You want to be flashy. You want to be cool. You want to impress the girls. And so I got pressed to try them out sometimes, but I always said no. I've always rejected that idea. That was just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. And flash forward to 10 years later, and all the people that I know who were really into that stuff, who tried to do these things, their lives are a complete mess now. All of them. And it's crazy. They basically let drugs and alcohol and smoking be the director of their lives. Like, I believe that all these vices have been, like, drugs and alcohol specifically were made by Satan to control you. And a lot of the times, these things, these vices in general, they're escaping mechanisms for a lot of people. They want to escape reality because they hate their life, they hate their wife, their husband, they hate their circumstances, they hate the car they're driving, they hate their bodies, they hate their environment, so they want to escape, and they go into things like video games, partying, drugs, smoking, alcohol, having too much sex, watching porn, all of which will eventually just lead their lives to a downfall and a disaster. And it's sad, really, really sad. And this is not just with normal people. Like, this happens all the time with celebrities and athletes. Like, how many times do we hear about this celebrity who has problems with alcohol, or we hear about this athlete who overdoses in drugs? Like, this shit happens all the time. Like, all people have problems with vices from time to time. And that's why I believe that people who are truly successful in life, and when I say successful, I don't just mean financially, because that's like just one aspect of life. That's just that, because that's how we usually measure success in this capitalistic society, right? Like, money is something that we need today. But someone who's successful in all areas of life, like their finances, their fitness, their health, their relationships, their spirituality, their confidence, and so on. Like, these people don't need these things. They don't need an escape from their reality. That's why, you know, you can look at so many guys who have, so many rich guys in Miami or Los Angeles or, you know, Dubai who are, you know, druggies and alcoholics. It happens all the time. So, you know, this was a long rant. I don't want to talk too much here. But I'm sure the question some of you guys might have is, so how do I get rid of this? How do I deal with bad vices and bad habits? Well, you got to start with fixing your mind first. You got to start by fixing what's important to you. What do you value the most? What's important to you? What are your goals? What is your vision for the next month, 6 months, year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Like, spend some time on that. And figure out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, what bad habits do you have, and what good habits do you have, because I'm sure some of you already have good habits under your belt. So just start with that. Like, spend some time on analyzing these things. But it also takes some humility. Like, you need to be humble with yourself and acknowledge that there's something going on, that there's something wrong right now. Because a lot that, you know, you need to drop down the ego. You need to be aware, like awareness. You need to have that. You need to have that awareness to start with. Because a lot of people have overinflated egos. They're like, oh, I don't have any problems. Alcohol is under control. You know, I don't smoke that much. It's, you know, I do weed once a week. It's no problem for me. Okay. But that's the first step. You need to have an open mind, and you need to acknowledge your weaknesses. Okay? And then the next step, you need to follow a plan, a proven plan that's going to fix all these things for you. And then you need to execute. You need to do something every day. And that's it. So, thank you so much for watching, and, you know, I wish you a wonderful day.